Olympic Community of Health is a nonprofit in the Olympic region, which includes Clallam, Jefferson, and Kitsap counties and 7 tribal nations. We prioritize collaboration across the region, tackling health issues no single sector or tribe can tackle alone. This video series brings bite-sized conversations addressing local health challenges directly to your screen. We invite you to grab a cup of coffee or tea and join us as we dive into today's topic. Olympic Community of Health believes that all people deserve to live with dignity. Access to long-term, affordable, and quality housing is one of the most important determinants of health, meaning that a person's health is significantly impacted by whether they have a safe place to call home. There are many different barriers to housing, including but not limited to a lack of available housing, increasing rent, housing prices, and interest rates, population growth within the community, an increasing percentage of properties being used as vacation rentals and second homes. Barriers to housing impact many individuals and communities, especially low-income and unemployed community members, people in treatment and recovery from substance use disorder, the elderly and aging population, and people with disabilities. By working to reduce barriers to quality housing and meet individuals' needs timely, easily, and compassionately, we are creating a region that fosters healthy communities. There are many opportunities to address housing and health as they go hand in hand. Housing impacts everyone, and by meeting that universal need to have a place to live and thrive, we are then better equipped to address other health issues. The SQUIM Food Bank, SQUIM Health and Housing Collaborative, and Kitsap Mental Health Services are partners who are working hard to better understand and address the issue of housing in their communities.
Hi, I'm Bridget Glasspoole, and I'm the Director of Housing and Community Services at Kitsap Mental Health Services, and I'm drinking a vanilla latte today.
Hi, Bridget. I'm Andra Smith. I'm the Executive Director of the SQUIM Food Bank, and I am actually drinking London Fog today. So how does housing impact health?
Oh, I think it's significant that health will improve once people are housed. You think about someone maybe out on the streets or in an encampment, they might not know what time it is or to get to their doctor or make an appointment or phone calls for what they need. And once they actually have a place to sleep at night and get on a schedule, they can start meeting with a regular doctor and not always do these emergency room visits, and they can start taking care of their person. So I always think the first step in getting, lives back in order or getting your health back on track is to get housed and then go from there.
That's what we see in our work. When people are, using our services, the visitors come to the food bank. That's what we see quite often is that, when people have that the chance to just have a place where they can, have a shower, rest, sleep, it helps them just to really be able to kind of take a breath and focus. And, we provide food and such for them as well, and then work towards the other, towards the other goals that they may have. Across the county, everybody can work together to provide all different kinds of housing, workforce housing, low-income housing, moderate housing, because there's a real need for that, in where we live.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think across the board, everyone needs housing, but across the board, you can be working full time and you can't afford it. Even though those with vouchers now can find some place, for those that are working or without vouchers, it's hard, especially some of our older folks that are living on their Social Security now.
Yeah.
They're ending up losing housing, and we're having more elderly homeless because they're losing housing over it. So there definitely need to be more programs for people on Social Security or, low-income workers.
Yeah.
When we shut down for COVID, a lot of the positions over in Seattle became work from home, and a lot of people moved across the water because they could get housing cheaper, which skyrocketed our prices, which priced out people that lived in the community for so long.
Yeah. That's similar in SQUIM too, There's a lot of layers to housing. Right. I had a person that was unhoused once tell me that homeless is like the word cancer. There's a lot of different kinds, and there's a lot of different solutions. And so when you look at housing as a whole, and that just the large housing. There's so many layers, you know. There's and you know it best, you know. There's the shelter, and then there's transitional housing, and then there's, you know, as the layers go through, and then there's, you know, workforce housing, low income housing, moderate housing. You know, there's across the board. There's not one solution.
Right. So how does your work at the food bank and the local collaborative help with housing needs?
Housing is really tough right now in our area. Some outreach people are having to help show people how to safely live in their vehicles because there's no place for people to live right now. And, you know, and that's not the case for everyone, you know, but every person is so unique and their situation is so unique that finding that right place for people can sometimes take a bit of time. Within the collaborative, we work really closely in reaching out into the community and going to the places where people may be that are unhoused and creating those relationships, providing them with the services and needs that we can provide at the time while we're working for a place, more permanent place for people to live. It's been really eye-opening for me to learn and understand the connection of what we do with food, and you know, and that connection of your food and what you have and living and the other needs, and just how they all work together and they're intertwined, and how important it is, like with your collaborative as well as ours, for us to all be at the table and working together to find solutions.
And I think with any successful housing project for our vulnerable folks in our community is the collaboration of agencies. Yeah. You know, every agency plays a part in getting that person stably housed.
Right. And not only does that person have to talk to all the agencies, I feel like the agencies should be talking to each other as well. I mean, it's a two-way street. Yeah. And so, you know, not just expecting that person that's working on all of those, checking all those boxes off, you know, it's not just, you know, they should have a team of people working along with them. And it sounds like what y'all are doing too, which is really awesome.
Just kind of as another example, Pendleton Place, which is one of the projects I work on, Peninsula Community Health comes in and they provide primary health care for our residents twice a week. And we've gotten connected so many people that didn't see a doctor on a regular basis to see a doctor. We opened the end of May and we now have 3 diabetics that no longer have to take insulin because they are doing our nutrition group, and the food banks are providing them food that they need, and they can cook for themselves, and they're being able to control their diabetes through their diet. So that's the healthcare. That's the partnerships with the food banks. We have the REAL team that's either West Sound Treatment or Agape that has come in and connected some of our residents that are struggling with substances to get into treatment. We do have both Kitsap Mental Health and Peninsula Community Health that come in and offer mental health for some of our residents. One of our local Rotaries has even brought in what are they called, little seedlings for our garden, and we had like a gardening class. So a lot of different people out in the community have brought stuff. Our Kitsap quilters made quilts for each one of our beds. League of Women Voters made care packages, so everybody had like hygiene and cleaning supplies when they came and lived there. So just each little piece within our community brought something to the table to get those 72 residents housed.
Yeah. So Bridget, what inspires you to work in housing?
I think my clients inspire me. Just hearing some of their stories, you know, I feel like my heart breaks over and over again for all the trauma that they've lived through, and then seeing them take that next step, get housed, and just becoming like this brand new person, and just seeing their resilience of coming through everything that they've lived through in life, and just having these great success stories.
So for me, I feel like everyone should have a safe place to eat, enough food, a safe place to live, enough food to eat, you know, and access to, you know, healthy healthcare. And I feel like those are just really important for everyone to have that available. And so that's what really drives me in working with our, you know, housing and outreach partners to create that network of partners that are partnerships, I guess, a network of community that we can help those families move along and meet the goals that they want. There's so many people that are out there working on housing. The importance is that everything is connected. So get involved, listen to what others are doing and see how you can help and connect the other organizations and all of us together and keep us all connected so we can move forward together and tackle housing and health.
I think that's great. I often think about once a person is housed, all those other needs need to be met, and all those other needs aren't just met with a roof over their head. Right. And if we all work in collaboration with one another to meet all the basic needs of a human being, that's going to be successful housing.
Yeah. I'm the director of a food bank. People may think, well, what does that have to do with housing? It has everything to do with housing. So we're all connected. You can't just focus on one thing without looking at it as the whole picture. We're as humans, we are all different, and we have a lot of different needs, and so you can't look at it in one way with blinders on.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself.
Regional partners can strengthen their approach by collaborating on solutions catered to the unique housing needs of each community, county, and tribe, while leaning on each other's expertise, perspective, and skills. OCH encourages you to consider the question, what strengths and skills do I have that might help address local housing needs? And then imagine the possibilities of combining your strengths with someone else's. Though the topic of housing is complex and massive, OCH is truly inspired by the many organizations and tribes working upstream to meet people where they are at and creatively meet community housing needs. We invite you to learn more about local housing efforts and ways you can get involved by going to olympic.ch.org.